All right, if you're gearing up for CMA Part 2, you know that understanding a company's long-term financial health is a huge deal. So today, we are going to zero in on two absolutely core concepts, solvency and capital structure. Let's get right into it.
It really boils down to this one question. And the answer? It almost always lies in a company's ability to manage its long-term obligations, its power to endure not just for the next quarter, but for the next decade. That's exactly what we're going to break down today.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the big idea of solvency. Then we'll make sure to separate it from liquidity, a common mix-up. After that, we'll dive into how a company finances itself, which is its capital structure. We'll look at the big trade-off between debt and equity, and finally, we'll get our hands dirty with the key ratios you absolutely need to know.
Okay, first up, let's lock in a core idea. I want you to think of solvency not as a sprint to make next month's payroll, but as the endurance to finish the entire business marathon. It is all about the long game.
And this right here, this is the core definition you've got to know. Solvency is simply the ability to meet those long-term obligations as they come due. It really is the ultimate measure of a company's financial stability and its chances for long-term survival.
Now, let's tackle something that trips up so many people on the exam, the difference between liquidity and solvency. They're related, for sure, but they measure two totally different things on two very different timelines. And this just lays it out perfectly, right? Liquidity is the sprint. Can you pay your bills this month? Solvency, on the other hand, is the marathon. Can this company still be standing years from now? It's a fundamental question of capital structure and long-term survival. Trust me, confusing these two on the exam is a mistake you don't want to make.
So that naturally leads us to this idea of capital structure. If solvency is the goal, then you can think of capital structure as the architectural blueprint. It's how a company literally builds its entire financial foundation.
I love this visual because it just nails the concept. On one side of this scale, you've got all the company's stuff, its assets. And on the other side, you have how all that stuff is paid for, the capital structure, which is just a mix of debt and equity. And the whole game is keeping that scale balanced. So the official definition is that capital structure is the mix of how a company finances its operations. But what does that actually mean? It's simple, really. A company can borrow money, which we call debt. That's an external source. Or it can use money from its owners, which we call equity. That's an internal source. Every single decision here directly shapes the company's risk profile. And as a general rule, more debt usually means more risk. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for any CFO. This is the critical trade-off between using debt and using equity. Each one has some really powerful advantages and, you guessed it, some pretty significant disadvantages. So why on earth would you take on debt? Well, there are two huge reasons. First, the interest you pay is tax deductible. This creates what's known as a tax shield, and it can make debt a whole lot cheaper than equity. Second, when you borrow money, you don't give away any ownership. The original owners keep full control of the company. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. Paying back that debt, it's not optional. It is a legal obligation. If your cash flow suddenly dries up, you can be forced into bankruptcy, and that's the #1 risk of debt. You might also have to pledge your assets as collateral. And of course, there's always a limit to how much anyone is willing to lend you. Now on the flip side, you've got equity. And the beauty of equity? It's all about flexibility. You're not legally required to pay dividends to your common shareholders. There's no fixed deadline to pay the money back. And having a strong equity base, what creditors love to call an equity cushion, makes your company way more creditworthy, which means you can borrow at better rates later if you need to. Okay, so if equity is so great, why not just use it for everything? Well, a few things. Dividends get paid with after-tax dollars, so they're more expensive than that tax-deductible interest we talked about. And more importantly, when you issue new stock, you dilute the ownership stake for all your existing shareholders. And finally, the fees you pay to issue stock are usually higher than for debt. This all boils down to a really simple but absolutely critical relationship. The more a company leans on debt, the riskier it becomes. This isn't just some number on a spreadsheet. It's a major strategic bet. Yeah, more debt can supercharge your returns when times are good, but it can be a fatal anchor in a downturn. And both lenders and investors will demand a higher rate of return to compensate for that extra risk, which can drive up your company's overall cost of capital.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. How do we actually measure this mix of debt and equity and figure out if a company is solvent? The answer is ratios. And for the CMA exam, you have to know these. Let's kick things off with a true classic, the debt-to-equity ratio. It does exactly what it sounds like. It compares a company's total liabilities to its total stockholders' equity. This is one of the very first things a creditor is going to look at to figure out how risky it is to lend money to a company. So let's just walk through how this works. We take the total liabilities, which are $1 million, and we divide that by the total stockholders' equity, which is $800,000. And that gives us 1.25. So what in the world does that number tell us? It means that for every single dollar of equity the owners have in the company, there's $1.25 of debt.
And here's the key interpretation you need to know. From a creditor's point of view, a lower ratio is almost always better. It means there's a smaller debt burden and a bigger equity cushion to absorb any potential losses, which makes it much more likely they'll get their money back. Now, the debt-to-equity ratio isn't the only game in town. There are several others that measure solvency from slightly different angles. You've got things like the debt-to-total assets ratio, or the times interest earned ratio, which is a big one that measures if a company's profits can actually cover its interest payments. And this all leads to the main takeaway from our whole explainer today. If you remember one thing, let it be this. Every single choice a company makes about its capital structure has a direct, real impact on its financial risk and ultimately on its ability to survive for the long haul. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. There is no single right answer here. It's a constant, delicate balancing act. How would you weigh the awesome tax benefits of debt against the terrifying risk of insolvency? That right there is the fundamental challenge of managing a company's capital structure.